Putin is signaling openness to new talks with Emmanuel Macron just as Europe cautiously reconsiders dialogue with Moscow while the Ukraine war grinds on. Russia has said Vladimir Putin is ready for talks with France if there is mutual political will on both sides, framing the move as conditional rather than automatic. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov told Russian outlet RIA Novosti on December 19 that Putin is prepared to engage with Macron under the right circumstances. Peskov added that Macron's recent comments about future talks can be viewed positively, but only if real political will for dialogue actually exists in Paris. He stressed that any potential talks must focus on understanding each other's positions, not on Western leaders lecturing Russia about what it should do. Peskov told Sputnik, and I quote, "Of course, if we are talking about dialogue, it should not be a dialogue about lecturing each other. It should be a dialogue about understanding each other's positions." Putin is always ready to explain his positions to his interlocutors in detail, sincerely, and consistently. Unquote. The Kremlin's remarks came after Macron argued that Europe must prepare, at some stage, for renewed talks with Russia as part of any long-term security architecture. On December 19, the French president said that dialogue with Putin could become necessary and useful in the future, even if conditions are not yet in place. "I think it will be useful to talk to Vladimir Putin again. Yes. In any case, I see that there are people who talk to Vladimir Putin. So I think that we Europeans and Ukrainians have an interest in finding the framework to re-engage in this discussion in due form. Otherwise, we talk to each other with negotiators who go alone to talk to the Russians. This is not optimal. So I think we need to finish the session, if I may say so, in progress. Discussions will take place in the next few hours to see what progress has been made. There's a cycle underway, a robust, lasting peace, with all the guarantees required, can be achieved. Formidable. And in any case, at that point we'll get round the table with everyone. Either we must continue to finance, engage, resist and help Ukraine. In the coming weeks, we will also have to find ways and means for the Europeans, in the right organization, to re-engage in full dialogue with Russia, in full transparency and in association with Ukraine. European Union leaders agreed on Friday to provide Ukraine with a new loan of €90 billion, about $105 billion, to keep the country financed. However, the bloc failed to reach agreement on actually using frozen Russian assets to generate or back these funds, revealing deep internal divisions. Several member states reportedly got cold feet at the last moment, fearing legal risks and the precedent such a move could set for future asset seizures. The Financial Times described the chaos that erupted on the night of December 18 as leaders haggled over how far to go on Russian money. German leader Friedrich Merz was said to have presented a proposal to use Russia's frozen assets to underpin a $105 billion loan package for Kiev. Italy's Giorgia Meloni reportedly emerged as the main spoiler of that plan, with Macron also having last-minute reservations according to those present. One official told The Foot that Meloni was the killer. Macron was mostly silent. The summit was the sideshow, capturing the mood inside the room. Meloni was said to be particularly worried about whether national parliaments would accept Belgium's complex financial guarantees tied to the frozen assets.